Imagine a land so dry, so broken, that even the wind feared to stay there. The soil was cracked like shattered clay pots. The trees stood like dead skeletons reaching the sky, begging for mercy. No rivers. No birds. No laughter. Not even hope. People whispered that this land was cursed, that the spirits had abandoned it. But here's the mystery. This land didn't return to life because of war, or sacrifice, or a powerful king. It returned because of one simple act of kindness. One act, offered to someone nobody respected, someone nobody expected. And that kindness woke the land back up. This is the story of Ayale Okuta, the village that lost everything, until compassion returned. Welcome to the Promisky Folktale channel, where stories walk, spirits speak, and legends live again. If you love powerful African tales full of mystery, magic, and meaning, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And hey, tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story when it drops. Now, sit back and listen closely. Long ago, Ayale Okuta was not like this. It was a village of abundance. Yams were so plenty they filled barns like mountains. Streams flowed fresh and clean. Children ran under mango trees, laughing like the world would never end. But when people taste too much comfort, they often begin to believe they earned it all alone. The villagers became proud. They stopped honoring the land. They stopped respecting elders and strangers. They mocked the poor and chased hungry travelers away like animals. Worst of all, they insulted the spirits of nature. They laughed whenever the elders warned them. Then one season, the rain delayed. Another season, the rivers shrank. And one morning, the village woke up. And the water was gone. Just like that. The ground turned hard like iron. Crops refused to grow. Animals fled into the wild. The village that once overflowed with life became a place that could not even feed a child. The elders consulted diviners, desperate for answers. And the diviners said something that shook everyone. This land was not cursed by anger. It was cursed by the absence of compassion. Until kindness returns, abundance will not. But kindness had become a forgotten language in Ayale Okuta. Families began to leave, one after another. They packed their things and ran away to survive. Soon, only a few remained. And among them was a young woman named Amara. Amara had nothing special by the village's standards. No big farmland. No rich family. No fancy jewelry. Her hut leaned to one side, patched with old leaves. Her meals were small. Her water was never enough. Yet Amara carried something that was rare in that land. A soft heart. Even though the village suffered, Amara still shared what little she had. She gave food to the old ones everyone ignored. She fetched water, walking far across cracked earth, just to help others. And people often mocked her. Amara, why are you still helping others? This land gives nothing back. Your kindness will finish you. But Amara would only smile and say, kindness does not wait for reward. And that was the difference between Amara and everyone else. The land had hardened their hearts. But Amara refused to become like the soil. Then one evening, something happened. As the sun sank red into the horizon, Amara walked near the old sacred grove. The grove everyone avoided. The grove the elders warned children to never enter. Because they said spirits lived there. But Amara heard something strange. A sound that didn't belong to wind or animals. A quiet, tired, painful sigh. Amara stepped carefully into the grove. And beneath a dying iroko tree, she saw her. An old woman. Her skin looked like dried earth. Her clothes were torn and covered in dust. Her eyes were deep, too deep, like they carried centuries of sorrow. The woman looked up slowly, weak and tired. "Child," she whispered. "Do you have water?" Amara froze. The water in her clay pot was her last water for the night. If she gave it away, she might sleep thirsty. But she looked at the old woman again and saw suffering. So Amara knelt and handed her the pot. The old woman drank slowly. Then she smiled and asked a question that sounded like a test. "Why would you give your last water to a stranger?" Amara replied softly. "Because thirst does not ask who you are." The old woman's smile widened. Then she laughed, quiet but powerful. And as she laughed, the ground beneath them trembled. Just slightly. As if the land itself had heard something it hadn't heard in years. "Mercy." The old woman stood up. And suddenly, the air changed. Her body shimmered like heat rising from sand. Her shadow stretched too long, unnaturally. Amara's breath caught in her throat. Then the old woman spoke in a voice that was no longer weak. "I am Ejomi, the spirit of life and hidden waters." Amara trembled, but she did not run. The spirit looked around the dead grove and said, "This land did not die because it was hated. It died because compassion disappeared." She stepped forward and planted her staff into the ground. And then, crack! The earth split open. A tiny stream burst out, clear, glowing, and alive. Water. Real water. Amara couldn't believe her eyes. Before she could speak, Ejomi whispered, "Power could not heal this land. Sacrifice could not restore it. Only a heart willing to give when it has nothing left." Then, the spirit vanished. The grove became silent again. But the ground was breathing. 4. The next morning, grass grew beside Amara's hut. By the third day, the small stream had become a river. Birds returned, singing like they had never left. Trees began to bloom. Seeds sprouted without planting. The village woke up in shock. People who had fled began to return, running back with wide eyes. "Is this Alaokuta? Is this the dead land?" The elders came to Amara, trembling. "What did you do?" they asked. Amara simply answered, "I was kind." And the elders bowed their heads. Because the diviners had spoken truth. The land did not need magic. It needed mercy. But here's the part nobody expected. Prosperity returned. And with it, greed returned too. Some villagers tried to claim the new river as their personal property. Some said Amara only got lucky. Others wanted to control the water and sell it. And that night, Ejomi returned. Her voice was calm, but deadly serious. "If kindness fades," she warned, "this land will return to dust." The villagers were ashamed. They remembered how pride destroyed them. So they changed. They welcomed strangers. They fed the hungry. They shared water freely. They treated the poor like humans again. And the land continued to flourish. Not because the sky changed, but because hearts changed. And that is how Alaokuta became a reminder for generations. That abundance is not born from wealth. Power cannot revive dead things. But kindness can resurrect what the world has abandoned. Even today, elders still say, when the land becomes barren, do not search the sky first. Search the heart. Because the greatest miracle always begins with one good deed.